piercing scream shattered the night's uneasy calm. A crowd gathered, ignoring the rain as their eyes focused on the shocking scene before them. "Who did this?" A deep voice roared, silencing the murmurs of the gathering crowd. Emeka, the chief's eldest son, stood in the middle of the compound, gripping a bloodied machete in his trembling hands. At his feet lay the lifeless body of his younger brother, Obinna, his chest bearing a single deep wound. "I didn't mean to," Emeka cried out, his voice choked with anguish. "He tried to kill me first." The villagers, soaked and shocked, whispered among themselves. "A brother killing his own blood?" someone murmured. Others shook their heads, disbelief etched on their faces. From the crowd, Mama Ada, their mother, collapsed to her knees. She wailed loudly, "Why? Why would the gods curse this family so?" But not everyone stayed to witness the chaos. In the far corner of the compound, unnoticed by most, a shadow moved. Someone slipped away quietly into the rain-soaked night. By morning, the rain had stopped, but the tension in the village was heavier than ever. Emeka was brought to the town square, his hands tied with rough rope. The village elders, grey-haired and wise, sat in a circle under the massive Baobab tree. "Tell us what happened," Elder Nwosu demanded, his voice firm. Emeka's head hung low. "He attacked me," he said quietly. "We argued about things. Then he pulled a knife. I defended myself. It was an accident." "An accident?" Elder Nwosu echoed, his voice laced with doubt. "Your brother lies dead, and you call it an accident? How do we know you're telling the truth?" Emeka looked up, his eyes bloodshot. "I loved Obinna," he said, his voice breaking. "He was my brother. I would never—" Before he could finish, a loud voice cut through the air. "Loved him? Enough to kill him for the chieftaincy?" It was Akuchi, one of the villagers. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Mama Ada, sitting nearby, burst into tears again. "This family is ruined," she sobbed. Chief Udoka, frail and bedridden, had sent a message demanding Emeka be brought to him. The elders hesitated but agreed. Emeka was led away to his father's hut, where the once powerful chief lay surrounded by the smell of herbs and decay. Udoka's voice was weak, but his eyes were sharp. "What have you done, Emeka?" "Father, I didn't mean for this to happen," Emeka replied, kneeling beside him. Udoka sighed deeply. "You've brought shame upon this family, but there's more to this than you know. Obinna was not innocent in all this. He had secrets." "Secrets?" Emeka's brows furrowed. "What kind of secrets?" Udoka shook his head. "You must find out for yourself. But remember this, not everything is as it seems." That night, Mama Ada sat in her room, staring blankly at the flickering lantern. Ifeoma, Emeka's closest friend, entered quietly. "Mama, I want to help," Ifeoma said gently. "I believe Emeka didn't kill Obinna out of hatred. There's something more to this." Mama Ada didn't respond, her face stiff with grief. Ifeoma began tidying the room, hoping to ease the heavy atmosphere. As she folded Obinna's clothes, her hand brushed against something under his mattress. It was a crumpled letter. Curious, she unfolded it and began to read. The letter was addressed to someone named Ikenna. It spoke of debts owed, a deal made in secret, and a promise to reclaim what is mine. Ifeoma gasped. "Mama, look at this." Mama Ada took the letter, her hands trembling as she read. Her face turned pale. "What is this about? What was Obinna doing?" Determined to uncover the truth, Ifeoma started asking questions. Some villagers mentioned seeing Obinna talking to a mysterious woman days before his death. "She's not from here," one man said. "She's from Ora village. People say she deals in charms and shady business." Ifeoma traveled to Ora and asked around. Eventually, she was directed to a small hut at the edge of the village, where she met Ngozi. Ngozi was beautiful but intimidating, with piercing eyes that seemed to see through lies. "I knew Obinna," Ngozi said calmly when Ifeoma mentioned him. "He was a man with big dreams and even bigger debts. He wanted my help to secure his place in Nkebi, but he bit off more than he could chew." "What do you mean?" Ifeoma asked, her heart pounding. Ngozi leaned forward. Obinna wanted power. He believed he deserved to lead in Kebbi, not Emeka. But he couldn't do it alone. He made promises to people like me, but he didn't keep them. That's why he got desperate. Back in Nkibi, Emeka overheard the elders discussing a troubling matter. They spoke in hushed tones, but Emeka caught fragments of their conversation. Udoka knew. Obinna had proof. Not his son. Emeka felt a cold chill run down his spine. That night, he confronted his father. "You knew, didn't you?" Emeka said, his voice trembling with anger. Udoka closed his eyes, his frailty more apparent than ever. "I didn't want you to find out this way." "Find out what?" Udoka sighed. "Your mother was already pregnant when I married her. You're not my son, Emeka." The words hit Emeka like a blow. He staggered back, his mind reeling. "All my life, you let me carry the burden of being your heir," he said bitterly. "And now you tell me it was all a lie?" "I raised you as my own," Udoka said, "but Obinna, he found out. He wanted to use it against you." Meanwhile, Ifeoma returned with Ngozi's revelations. She presented the elders with the letter and what she had learned about Obinna's schemes. The village was in uproar. Many felt sympathy for Emeka, but others remained suspicious. But then Mama Ada stepped forward, her face grim. "I have something to confess," she said, her voice shaking. The crowd fell silent. "It was me," she whispered. "I killed Obinna." Gasps filled the air. Emeka stared at his mother, his heart breaking. "Why, Mama?" Mama Ada broke down in tears. "I found out about his plans to betray this family. He was going to destroy everything. I confronted him that night. He mocked me. He said terrible things. I couldn't stop myself. I grabbed the machete and..." Her voice trailed off, lost in her sobs. With Mama Ada's confession, the truth was finally revealed. Emeka was freed, but the family was shattered.